Okay, so let's see. I can explain this. Who do we got there? Hey, Richard, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Okay, as you can see, I had an issue with this bowl. It was out of round for some reason. It was when I glued it, it didn't go straight. It was off just a hair. So I had to put this on, turn it around, make my tenon a little bit different because my tenon was off. I mean, my mortise. Um, just when I went to straighten this back up again, the chuck, I had this on here to make sure everything was going to line up right so it doesn't wobble. So there's no wobble in it anymore. I will pull this up in a minute, but what I did here, to explain my drawings, the one inner circle was the rough cut. So that's where I'm going to start cutting and working this way with everything. This will come off in a minute. Um, this outer ring is where I want the finish line. That's kind of what I do. The reason why I'm doing that is because there's a lot of softwood in here. It's really easy to take it off real quick. And I tell people you should leave more than enough when you're finishing up stuff, so that you don't get. There's been times where I've shortchanged myself and it didn't turn out as good as I wanted inside because I made it too thin. So, thank you, Peyton. Thanks for stopping by. So, what I'm doing now is I'm going to pull this off. Couple of things I like to do though, and see, this is the side that you're going to be gouging out, so screw holes don't matter. You don't want to do it on the bottom, obviously. You could do it if you had a tenon that was big enough you were going to take off, so it wouldn't matter, right? But when I started out doing this, I kept having problems both ways before I put this back on, or before I put this on, where it would go like this. It wasn't this, it was this. Well, my lines on this side didn't line up exactly on this side. See, that's the problem you have when you're doing something like this. You need to do one side, preferably the side that you're going to gouge out, not the back side, and put this on, turn it around, make your tenon so that it's straight. When I'm gluing stuff together like this, a lot of times the oddball things throw it off. Something this big, I've already had to modify this like several times. So, what else we got out there? Hey, Mike, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Thanks, you guys, for subscribing too. No, I'm not charging you guys. It says one says subscribe, the other one probably says join. Don't. I'm not doing. As far as the joining thing, no, I'm not charging anybody that. I don't do that. That's. I think it's crap. A lot of people do, and I get it, but that's just not me. Okay, so now that I pulled this away, I'll put this over here. Yeah, with this thing, it was kind of a pain in the butt. All right, I'm only experimenting. This is a different way of segmenting too, by the way. So a lot of guys who segment may not do it this way. Okay, so this is throwing the wood together sideways. I have one upstairs that I have where it's going end grains are up and down, which is actually not a bad idea if you think about it because you're not sanding. These things can be a real booger, like right here. It just means a lot more sanding. Then the third way is the rings. And I'm going to put together one day, I'm going to put together 3 different bowls with that setup, rings, this, and the other one. And then one with no segmenting. So what I want to do now is take this beast off. Would be funny if I've got air wrenches out in the garage. Then I can use air ratchets in there and go. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I love that sound. Okay, so now what I was having a problem with was this. And see, this is a yellow ash, and I like the color of it. And this, I was originally going to have this as a bottom, but I think because it's a skinnier than the maple I put on, or the walnut I put on the bottom too. So my ideas is that usually when I make something like this, I use a lip around it. So now I got the wide baby. Now I can gouge. One thing though is people who are traditionalists will probably freak out when I use this. Aha! Yes, it is a carbide tip. Now what I usually do is I stop and I check my tightness every so often. If you guys are turners out there, how many times have you had the thing fly off on you? You know, it does come off, so. Man, I'd love to make. I wish I could get more of this yellow ash and stack it one on top of the other. That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Now, I have a fairly new one I want to use. Hey, there's 11 people on there. That's awesome, guys. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I got this at a pen symposium. All right, so like all my other tools that are carbide tipped, they have a mark on it. Maximum overhang. So you don't want to go past that going this way. Ideally, half of that working. So that's why a lot of times you take and move the tool rest, whether it be this one or the smaller one, in that you can work with you can work with your project. Now, when you get this down in the middle, the idea is you work it in the middle, then you work out, and you can move this inside. Now, one way you know your tools are sharp, when it's putting out stuff like this. That's pretty good. Oh, by the way, if anybody wants to do a side-by-side, if you feel like you want to be on live with me, let me know. I'm always open to criticizing, to people criticizing me, because do I know what I'm doing? No. I might look good, but no. Now, I'm getting down to the nitty gritty here, all right? And here's one thing I get to key issue is it's going to chunk out. Okay, so this is where you really can tell your tools are sharp or not. Should I leave it like that? Now, one thing I can tell you is that you should always keep moving this in and out. This is a little bit taller. Well, the way this whole thing sits, pretty tall. So I'm going to let it. I'm going to take a break here, you guys. I'll be back in a little while. Take a break, get dinner, grab a beer, whatever your favorite beverage is, and I'll be back with you guys. Thanks for watching the Dutchman's Wood Shack. And remember, if you haven't subscribed. You'll get my notices when I go back on.